Hey there, movie buffs and James Cameron fans! It's time to dive deep into the world of the man who brought us some of the most epic films of all time, from Titanic to Avatar. And we're starting off with a fact that'll blow your mind: how he managed to fund his very first short film, Xenogenesis. Now, we all know how tough it can be to secure funding for a movie, especially when you're just starting out. But Cameron had a secret weapon up his sleeve: a Hollywood dentist practice. Yep, you heard that right. And we're not talking about a measly tooth fairy donation. Oh no. This practice generously donated $20,000 to Cameron's project, and it turned out to be a total game changer. Thanks to that funding, Xenogenesis was able to come to life, and it caught the eye of none other than legendary filmmaker Roger Corman. And as they say, the rest is history. Cameron proved that you don't need a massive budget to create something incredible. You just need a Hollywood dentist and some serious creativity. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would never sell my movie script for just $1. I mean, come on, that's barely enough to buy a McChicken these days. But apparently, James Cameron didn't have such lofty financial aspirations when he sold the script for The Terminator. In fact, the man behind Aliens and Titanic was so strapped for cash at the time that he was living out of his car. So when producer and future wife Gale Ann Hurd expressed interest in the script, Cameron decided to take a gamble and sell it for just $1. That's right, one measly dollar. But here's the catch. In exchange for that dollar, Cameron had one very important condition: he would direct the movie himself. And boy, did that gamble pay off. The Terminator went on to become a box office smash and launched Cameron's career as one of the biggest names in Hollywood. So the next time you're feeling down about your bank account balance, just remember that James Cameron once sold a movie script for $1 and turned it into a sci-fi classic. Did you know that The Terminator, one of his most popular movies, was actually based on a nightmare? While the rest of us were dreaming about losing our teeth or going to work in our pajamas, Cameron's unconscious mind was coming up with the plot for one of the biggest action movies of all time.
Terminator was an idea that I had when I was in Rome. I was just sitting around basically in my hotel room. I was in fact sick at the time. I had real high fever. And I just laying on the bed thinking and came up with all this bizarre imagery.
Now, we don't know about you, but if we had nightmares like that, we might be a little scared. But not James Cameron. He turned that nightmare into a blockbuster hit. And if that wasn't impressive enough, his childhood dreams gave him ideas for another one of his masterpieces, Avatar. What a way to make dreams come true! So the next time you have a crazy dream, don't just ignore it. You never know, it could be the next big Hollywood movie. Hold on to your Na'vi tales, folks, because we've got another mind-blowing fact about the making of Avatar. Did you know that James Cameron actually wrote the script for the movie a whopping 14 years before it was released? That's right. Back in 1995, when we were all still rocking our flannel shirts and baggy jeans, Cameron was already dreaming up the world of Pandora and its alien inhabitants. But here's the kicker. Cameron was so committed to bringing his vision to life with the best possible technology that he insisted on waiting until the perfect moment to start production. And boy, did he wait! It wasn't until 2009 that we finally got to see Avatar on the big screen, complete with groundbreaking CGI and jaw-dropping special effects. And it looks like history repeated itself with the Avatar sequel, which had been in the works for what felt like a century. But once again, Cameron was determined to use the latest and greatest technology to bring his vision to life, including extensive underwater filmmaking. So while we may have to wait a little longer for our third trip to Pandora, in 2024, we can rest assured that it'll be worth the wait. James Cameron is not only an accomplished filmmaker and explorer, but he's also a real-life hero. When Guillermo del Toro's father was kidnapped in Mexico, Cameron didn't hesitate to take action. He actually withdrew a cool $1 million from his personal bank account and paid the ransom to secure the release of del Toro's dad. And let me tell you, that's not the kind of money most people just have lying around. I mean, I can barely keep up with rent, let alone shell out $1 million to rescue someone. But that's just how much James Cameron cares about his friends and fellow filmmakers. Unfortunately, the kidnappers never returned the money or faced any consequences for their actions. But hey, at least Del Toro's father was able to come home safely, thanks in part to James Cameron's quick thinking and generosity. Now that's what I call a true friend. It just goes to show you that you don't need superpowers to make a difference in the world. But wait, it gets even better. Did you know that Cameron is also an accomplished deep-sea explorer? That's right. He has made multiple trips to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, in a custom-built submarine called the Deep Sea Challenger. In fact, his love for underwater exploration inspired him to make his hit movie, The Abyss. So not only is James Cameron a creative genius, but he's also an intrepid explorer and a real-life hero. Is there anything this man can't do? How can we come all this way without talking about, you guessed it, Titanic?
I've got you. I won't let go. Come on, I've got you.
He didn't just want to make a movie about a tragic shipwreck. He wanted to go down to the bottom of the ocean and shoot actual footage of the sunken ship to make it as realistic as possible. And he didn't just do it once, he did it multiple times. And get this, he even wrote some of the movie's dialogue during his dives. I mean, talk about dedication to your craft. And all that hard work paid off big time. Titanic was a massive success, breaking box office records and winning a whopping 11 Academy Awards. And speaking of awards, James Cameron's filmography is just racking them up left and right. He's been nominated for a total of 41 Academy Awards and has won 21 of them. That's more awards than most people can even dream of. The movie is a love story set against the backdrop of one of the most tragic events in American history. And James Cameron didn't skimp on the details either. The movie runs for a staggering 2 hours and 40 minutes, which just happens to be the exact same amount of time it took for the real Titanic to sink after hitting an iceberg. Talk about attention to detail. And despite the movie's massive production cost of over $250 million, it raked in over $1 billion at the box office, making it the highest-grossing movie of all time for a whopping 12 years. No wonder it won so many awards. Did you know that the mastermind behind some of the greatest sci-fi films of all time, James Cameron, dropped out of high school? Yep, it's true. But that didn't stop him from pursuing his passion for filmmaking. He attended Fullerton College for a while, but eventually left without finishing his course. From there, he worked a variety of jobs, including as a truck driver, before deciding to go all in on his dream of becoming a filmmaker. He taught himself techniques, worked as a miniature model maker at Roger Corman Studios, and eventually landed a job as an art director in 1980. And the rest, as they say, is history. Thanks for watching, folks, and remember, if James Cameron can do it, so can you.